I drive a bus. He drives a bus.
Hello! Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am your teacher Mitch. Please subscribe.
For this video, I am going to share about the simple present tense, which is very useful in our daily conversation. In such, these are the uses of simple present. When are we going to use simple present tense? First, when we talk about general truth or about facts, true information that can't be changed. Next, about repeated action. It's like our daily routine in life, just like what we do again and again. Next, how often we do things, especially if we use the adverb of time, like how often we do things, like always, sometimes, usually, more often, or very often. That's all. Next, for fixed schedule. This mean about like your schedule, like when you go to work, this is your schedule, or about public transportation. When we say public transportation, it's from the government, like bus, train, ship, and planes. Those are public transportation. So when we talk about their schedule, and we use the simple present tense. Now let's have the example sentences from these uses. Let's start from the general truth, or we say about facts. Let's start from general truth. Okay, let's have the example. The earth goes around the sun. We all know this in science, right? That's for fact. Next, nurses take care of patients in hospitals. That's the work of nurse, to take care of patients in hospitals, even at home. Now let's have for repeated action, or just like what we do in our daily life or our daily routine. For example, we have I clean the house, he drives a bus. Now, when we talk about how often we do things, just like when we use the adverb of time, just like always, sometimes, often, and usually, we use simple present. For example, I always get up early in the morning. Next, I drink coffee very often. Now let's have for fixed schedule. Fixed means already arranged. For example, schedule for the bus or buses. Buses come and go every after an hour. That's the schedule of the bus. Next, the coffee shop opens at 7 o'clock in the morning. Now let's talk about the sentence structure of the simple present tense. Always remember that in making sentences, we have to follow the subject and the verb agreement, in which if you are going to use singular subject, it must be followed with singular verb at the same time. When we say singular, it means only one or single. For example, from the pronoun subject, it, she, and he. For the singular verb, you have to put s or es to your verb. let's have the example sentences. She cleans the house every day. Now, it's very important that you know the subject and the verb in your sentence. So, in here, the subject is she. Now, your verb is cleans. As you can see, there is an S at the end of the verb. Why? It's because your subject is she, which is a singular subject. So, singular subject plus the singular verb. Now, let's have the next example. The sun rises in the east. Look at the subject and the verb of the sentence. The subject is the sun, which is a singular subject. And we have the verb rises. So in here we put S because our subject is singular. So singular subject plus the singular verb. Okay? Now in a sentence, if we have plural subject, then it must be followed also with a plural verb. When we say plural, that means two or more, or it's more than one. For example, pronoun subject, we have I, you, we, and they. So what happened to your verb? There must be no S or ES. So just a main verb or a base form. So for example, I speak German very well. So in here, look at your subject and verb. Your subject is I, which is a plural subject. Next to your verb, speak. Okay, so in here, you are going to use the plural verb. Why? It's because your subject is plural. So very easy. You just follow the rule. Plural subject plus the plural verb. Another good example. My parents live in a very small apartment. So look at here, your subject and your verb. Your subject is my parents. Alright. Now we all know that parents is a mother and a father. So it's two people. So what happens to your verb is just a normal verb or a base form. So there's no S or ES at the end of your verb. Same as what we had here. Okay, so plural subject plus the plural verb. Okay, so let's have a short review about the lesson that we just had, simple present tense. Now, it's very important to know when are we going to use this. So we use this for general truth, repeated action, how often we do things, and also for fixed schedule, the schedule that we already arrange. Okay, and let's go with the sentence structure. Okay, so the first rule, if you have a singular subject, then also it must be followed with a singular verb. So what happens to your singular verb? You add S or ES, right? Now, the second rule, if you have a plural subject, then it must be followed also with a plural verb. Then, what happens to your verb? It's just an only main verb, okay? Or the base form verb, in which there is no S or ES adding on it. Okay? Now, let's have a practice about the correct use of the simple present tense. Use the words that are in the parentheses correctly. Okay, it's very important to know first the subject and then know if it is a singular or plural. All right, so let's start the first sentence. I blanked the house. Look at here your subject. It's I. I is a plural subject. Therefore, you must use the verb into plural verb form. Okay, so it becomes clean. So, I clean the house. Next, he blanked a bus. Look at your subject. It's he. He is a singular subject. So, use the verb into singular form. So, it becomes drives. Remember that we put s to the end of the verb if we have a singular subject. The train blank at 5 o'clock in the morning. Here, the subject is the train, which is only one, so singular subject. So, if you will have a verb that ends with O, you have to add es to that verb. So, it goes like this. Okay? It ends with O, so you add es to the verb. So, the earth goes around the sun. Next, we blank TV before going to bed. The verb is watch. So here the subject is we, which is a plural subject. So you just remain as a base form or main verb. So it goes this way. So we watch TV before going to bed. Just only the main verb or the base form. That's all for this video, and I hope that you learned something. And don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.